Hi, I'm Euge Valovirta, and this one is about Hayden Classic 80 tube amplifier. Alright, a little bit noodling. Yeah. Anyways, Hayden Classic Lead 80. I've never heard about this amp or this brand, and I did some research and couldn't find much information from the mighty internet. But what I was able to find is that Ashdown, you know, the company that is known for bass amplifiers, I guess they had this brand as their, under their umbrella or something, and they made these Hayden guitar amps for a brief amount of time. I think it was 2013, 2018, or 2018, 2013, around that, not so, long. So, but it's, like you heard, it's a classic British Plexi style amplifier. And the song in the beginning, I originally wrote that when I did the demo of the EVH standard, the red guitar, and immediately when I plugged it in, EL34's okay, classic Plexi British style was, well, okay, maybe I'll just get a Frankie and try out. And I was like, oh yeah, it's in that ballpark. There's two channels. Both channels has this shade knob. Like I said, I couldn't find any info, but what it does, it kind of changes the character of the amp from a darker to brighter, or the input. I don't know, but yeah, what it does to me is it changes the character. Then your standard middle bass treble presence tone stack, two master volumes, and then this kind of mute thing. And then the power switch was in the back, but there was no standby switch. And the effect loop send and return is here in the front. And you can't access the channel 2 without a foot switch, which this didn't have. Thanks again, Musics, for letting me borrow this. Just wanted to check this out because I've never heard. What I have is this bus latch kind of switch, so I need to press this to access to the channel 1, and if I take this off, then it's just the channel 1. So it's a bit odd, but let's check out the channel 2 now. And the signal chain is the Frankie, completely stock. I think it's a Wolfgang pickup here. Then it's a pedal board, and I have SD1 on, like usually. Then, from the pedal board it goes to, don't know if you can see it, KHE Audio Electronics amp switcher. And then, I have a couple of Marshalls here ready to go. I'm gonna compare. And then from the amp switcher, it goes to the amps and back, and then into the Sandrock's React IR, reactive load / cab attenuator. But I'm only using the cab attenuator portion. And from that it goes to Marshall 9060BX, the greenbacks. And I had just one SM57 in there, and the SC Electronics kind of isolation booth, whatever you want to call it. So I'm just attenuating the volume so that it's manageable levels, but loud enough so that the speakers move air and the microphone gets strong enough signal. So it's pretty loud here, but it's not insanely loud. I mean, this is a 50-watt amp. There's 4 EL34s, and there was 4 ECC83/12AX7 preamp tubes. What I was able to find the info, and I think the fourth one is I think the effect loop is tube driven. If I understood correct. But again, there's not that much info. And the mute, well, it mutes this, which is okay. Then there's 3 positions, center and left. And to me, these, I don't know. Well, I just have it on center. So it's kind of classic Plexi style amp. Let's check the SD off. And there's plenty of gain. Let me show you what the controls do. So first, let's check out the shade. Well, it's not actually brightness. It's kind of, it affects the low end. Yeah, when it's on the left, there's more low end. Boo, boo, boo. Kind of like resonance. Resonance control, I think. think I had it on position 2. The first one was a little bit too boomy. And then the gain. It's kind of Plexi style, but there's more gain, so kind of like muddied Plexi. I think I had it somewhere there where it just opens. And then when I kick in the SD, it just becomes a little bit tighter. Like that, and a little bit compressed. That's what SD does. Then now it's off. Then the middle, bass and treble, presence controls. I think I had it somewhere around noon, where it kind of opens the bass. Somewhere there, treble. Well, this is strange. Okay, I think it sounds what it does. It's not really, because many times the tone stack is that you have a certain frequency, and in this case the treble control is the volume control of that frequency. But to me, this sounds like it changes the frequency and not the volume. Now when it's here, it's almost like goes to mix. Now it goes really up. That's interesting design. I might be wrong, but to me it sounds like the frequency changes and not really the volume of a certain frequency. Because with Plexi everything affects to each other. So because I literally just put this on and play the song and so yeah, they're really interactive. So you kind of have to tweak them all at the same time to find out. But I think here, somewhere where it kind of goes to the upper register. Kind of this full sound, which cleans up pretty nicely. And then when I add the SD, just makes it tighter. Okay, and presence. So this is more like a treble. These are definitely, it's a volume for a certain frequency. I know, maybe somewhere 4 or 5K. Alright, cool. And then the master. Well, it's a volume. And then, the more you crank the master, the power tube kind of starts to, do the power tube distortion. Here it's just kind of preamp distortion. I mean, it's quieter now, but then when I add a little bit more so that the power tubes start to use that Plexi thing. The amp just becomes alive, like with tube amps. Let's check out the channel 1. Oh, I need to disengage the foot switch. Are they the same? Let me. Is there any difference? Okay. I'll put this on the floor and I will just rest my foot on it. Well, they're quite similar sounding, so I guess the idea is just, you know, if you set the masters differently, you have kind of a lead boost, or then you can, you know, set the channel 1, let's say, to clean. So yeah, it's a 2-channel amp. I think it's pretty cool that they're approximately the same tonalities, so then, you know, because you have only one tone stack, so if they would be completely different, then it could be that, okay, when you dial channel 2, that it's great, and the channel 1 could be like something else. Okay, let's check out the masters. Okay, so this is a bit similar than on the Plexi, because, you know, Plexi has 4 inputs, the treble inputs, high and low, and the bass inputs. But even if you don't have anything connected, like a jumper cable, from 1 to 2, when you crank up the loudness 2, it's labeled in Plexi, it blends into the tone. So this is the same. So I have channel 2, but check out when I turn the master 1, the channel 1 master up. So it blends in there. The channel 1 is a little bit darker. I don't know. So this is pretty cool, similar to what the Plexi has. So even though it's only channel 2 in this case, when you crank the channel 1's master, it blends into the tone. Alright, so classic British stuff. Now let's compare it to Plexi and 800. I'm not gonna use any boost now. So first the Hayden and then the 1987X Plexi, 5th Plexi. So it is a little bit darker. It's the case with many kind of Plexi copies or replicas. To me, they always seem to be a little bit duller. So I've said this before, but I say it again. If you ask me, you know, what amp you should get to get a Plexi sound, get a Marshall Plexi. If you want something else, get something else. This has a Plexi character, but it's something else. I mean, it would make much sense to make an exact copy of the original Plexi, at least to me. So this kind of Plexi a little bit darker. Let me see if I can dial it a little bit more like a Plexi. It's fairly close now. Plexi? Hayden? Okay, so with the shade knob, you can actually make this sound really close to real Plexi, okay? Then let's compare it to 800. This is the one from 85, aka the little brother. It has EL34s. So now it's the 800. It's a 100-watt amp. I mean, the volume stays, but it's bigger, and 800 just is a bit more modern than Plexi. It just has this bite. This what I call high silver, which I just like. It just cuts through the mix. As you hear, 800 Plexi, you know, they are operating the same ballpark, because 800 is pretty much an evolution of Plexi with a little bit, you know, more control, because it has a master volume and it a little bit more that top end and stuff. Okay, then let's compare 800 to Hayden. Let's try to make Hayden sound like 800. That's Hayden. Okay, now the low end disappeared. Kinda, but not. So this is more kind of like a Plexi with that as 800 just has this huge, like, well, yeah, there's a reason why 800 is my all-time favorite amp. Okay, then 800 and Hayden, but with the SD1. First 800 with SD. As you can hear, it's quite noisy, but it's part of the charm. Okay, then Hayden with 800. Hayden with SD. Yeah, it's more like a Plexi. Conclusion. The amp I've never heard of, and I guess the amps that doesn't even exist anymore, or they exist if you happen to find one. I think Musics has two of these. You know, it's in that Plexi territory, classic British bite. 2 channels, 2 master volumes, and both channels have the shade knob, which kind of changes the character. I think it's kind of like a resonance knob. So I think it's, well, if you want to have a Marshall Plexi tone, get a Marshall Plexi. It's the only, yeah, no questions. If you want to have something else, more control, master volume, maybe not that, because not everyone likes that high silver bite, which I love, but I know many people don't, you know, they wish that, you know, it could be more smoother. So this is a good alternative to Plexi, a smoother alternative with more gain. That was it. Hayden Classic Lead 80. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you found this interesting and informative. Take care. See you on the next one. Bye.